All right, everybody. Welcome to another segment of the Gambling Lab brought to you by Bogey Proof. It is Open Championship Week, big week, the final major of the year. One of the more exciting ones. A little, it's interesting. It's different than all the others in quite a few different ways that I'm sure we'll get into here. But we're here to talk a little, weather and course preview, and non-picks, non-player, no daily fantasy picks, anything like that. We'll get into that in another segment, but we're going to use this time to give you guys a little layout of Royal St. George's and talk a little links golf and the weather that we're going to deal with over there
Yeah.
this week. And I'm really excited for the Open Championship. I don't know about you guys, but one of my favorites every year, and I'm glad that we get one this year. Obviously, we missed one with COVID last year, but if anything, it made me a little more excited. I'm
Yeah.
itching. I'm ready to roll. What do you guys got?
Yeah,
TJ, weather
I'm
right away.
let's jump into the weather. I mean, it's what gets me going. I'm excited for it. When we talk about an open, usually we think rain, we think wind, combination of both sometimes. We're actually not going to get the rain. It looks like it's going to be absolutely gorgeous. It ain't going to be a scorcher of 90 degrees plus. It's really going to be down in the mid 60s. So that might contribute to some of the scores being somewhat decent this week, but really it's going to come down to wind and where the wind's blowing. This course is sitting on right on the water on the east side of the UK here, and the wind is going to be blowing towards the east. So it's going to be from the west towards the east, where it'll blow off into the water. And the way this course is situated, each and every day, the wind, because it's going to blow in the same way, it's a lot of these holes are different. They're not going north, south, east, and west. Like there's not one general direction. It's going in many different directions. So wind's going to change on every hole. Gusts can get up to 30 miles per hour on some days. A consistent like teens mile per hour throughout the entire Thursday through Sunday. Weather's a factor, absolute factor. It's going to be interesting. But yeah, that's what I got for the weather. It's gonna be awesome to watch. I mean, on top of the beautiful golf course that we have. So really excited to see how this plays out.
Yeah, and that's the thing with Open Championships, right? Like you talk this win 15, 30, and 15s, you kind of see that almost week to week where like it kind of maxes out around there. The thing here though, there's no trees on this golf course, right? That's what links is. There's no trees anywhere.
Actually, there's one tree left. They
One
did
little
mention
bush,
it today.
right? Yeah. I think I saw that actually. On our Instagram, we put like the golf digest hole by hole
Yep.
kind of repost in our story. And I think watching one of them, I think it's like one of the par threes. It's like there's a little
It's off
tree
to the right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a little tree left to it, but I mean nothing that's gonna impact the wind at all. It's
Yeah.
a little like shrub. It's not nothing crazy, but that's the thing about links golf. It's played like the wind is such a factor, but like at the end of the day, because that wind is blowing, it changes the kind of dynamic. Like the turf, you'll hear the guys talk about a lot. Like it's a lot firmer, faster, and just it feels different than playing over here in the States. And you get whether it's Bermuda or if you're playing, in kind of the Midwest or northern parts of the country here, you get that soft, heavy turf, where over here it's going to be firm, fast, totally different. And the wind like can impact a ball on the greens kind of, conditions that we deal with here at the Open Championship, which always brings in an extra variable. I mean, you got to play the ball not only in the air and deal with that, but once it lands, you got to pay attention to what it's going to do too, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
few different things going on, a few different things to look to. But that being said, I think we should get into the course itself here. We got it's definitely different. Looking at it online myself and kind of doing that course preview, for me, what stuck out is the like elevation changes. I feel like at Open Championships, it's usually just one big flat piece of property, and this one, it's anything but that. I mean, there's no trees or anything like that, which is consistent. They got the nice tall fescue grass, all that fun stuff that gives it the look of the Linksy course. But there's like elevation and mounds and
Mm-hmm.
like it's not just pop bunkers. It's like big tall bunkers. It's there's just a little bit more like up and down to this golf course than I remember in most Open Championships. Granted, we've been off for about 2 years now since we last had one, but that was the biggest thing that stood out to me. I mean, I'm sure you guys got some more tidbits to put into that, but for me, the biggest thing that stood out is just elevation you don't normally see in an Open Championship. You combine that with links style conditions of wind and firmness. That's just incredibly difficult to what's the word? Like it just makes everything so much more extreme. Like it's so much harder to judge the wind when you're also going up or downhill, right? Or harder to judge how the ball's going to react when you're hitting it straight up in the air and it's landing a elevated surface versus down below. Like all those different things, just like another nuance to the variables they deal with over on the link style golf courses.
Yeah, I actually heard some new terminology this week. Hill bunkers. I mean, I'm not usually accustomed to that, but there's one gigantic bunker that's within the hillside where these guys are actually going to be driving over. I think it's like, I don't know, anywhere from 290 to 300 to clear this bunker into the side of the hill. But it's things like that on the golf course that are just unique. The fescue, or the hay they call it. I was watching a little Bryson today on live at the Open, and he was talking about how you're going to get rewarded for putting the ball in the fairway. You put it in this hay that you call it. It is thick. I mean, I don't think they take care of it. I think it's just naturally grown anyways. Mm-hmm. But it is thick. It is grown in quite good for a challenge if you do put it off in the rough. So it'll be awesome. It'll be a great test of really striking the ball far, but also trying to find it in the fairways. And then, like you said, Fontaine, where's it going to go when it's in a fairway? Is it on a mound? Is it in a collection area? There are so many different mounds. I was even just playing 2K 21 just to try to get a feel of the course. I do this before just to see, like, what would I do? What would the course be like? Where's the wind going? How do you play it? If that is any indication, which was a 5-star, it's a lot of hills, a lot of like mounds. So that's going to be cool. I want to see these guys have a challenge, and it's going to be a challenge for them for sure.
What sticks out to me with this course is I always look at like aerial views just to try and figure out some routing, and especially for people that hit the ball far, it's always okay, where can they miss? Like what holes are next to each other? This course, all the holes are just like all over the place. They're not near each other. It's like they just walked out there in the 1800s. It was just like, hey, we're going to go this way. Okay, let's go right for 400 yards. Let's turn the other way. Let's go over here. They just took this whole plot of land and like spaced the course out, which you don't see a lot of anymore. It's usually, you get a 100-acre property or something like that, and you're just
up,
plopping,
down.
yeah, and everything's like congested and tight, and everything's all nice and together. This is like there's just random golf holes in the middle of a field with mounds of heather and hay, whatever you want to call it, all around. It's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, I think that brings up an interesting little point too, because you take guys and, right, like you're saying, like where can they miss? You got to think about like, some of the longer hitters, and we'll talk more about like strategy of picking guys this week. But you think of a guy like Rory versus a guy like Kevin Kisner, right? Like when Rory misses, it's like off the earth. And he's going to, like, if he misses this week based on that aerial type view, it's going to be like 100 yards into heather and like going to barely be able to get back into the fairway because he's going to have such trouble hacking out, or it's just going to be out of bounds, obviously. But like if it is still in play, like he's going to have, it's not just like in some other instances you can be like on another fairway or like in another opening because there's a hole over there where you can go up the other hole and like back into your hole. Like all those different things that come stateside that come into play. I mean, not like every hole, but it can come into play. That's just not an option this week, right? It's either going to be out of play or you're going to have some serious work to do to get back into play and back into the hole in order to limit the damage to just a bogey or something like that. So it's definitely an interesting little tidbit.
And then once you even get to the greens, that is not a cupcake. I mean, that is the undulations of that is ridiculous. Pop bunkers that have false sides or fronts. It is, even if you miss, like good luck, because you're not going to be able to get it to stop where you want. These greens are super firm, going to be really fast. Yeah, good luck. You have to hit the fairway. And as we talk the golf course, I think finding golfers this week that hit the fairway are going to be your guys that are going to have the best chance of really shooting as low as it was. And I think Darren Clark back in 2011 won, right? Was it 5 under? Beat DJ by 3. I think DJ was 3 under. I think it's going to be there, if not a little bit higher. I think there's going to be a few more guys that are over that, but this course is going to play tough. And yeah.
Open championships, unless they get weird weather for over there and the wind just doesn't exist in for a day or a day and a half, it's always around that like 6 under. And like if you're under par at all, you're usually in the top 10 to 15, which you like to see. I think that's what U.S. Opens try to do, and I think they either overkill it and like one like even par wins, which I love seeing that every once in a while too, or like kind of they don't get the weather they expected, or they go crazy the first day and have to tone it back, and it gets around like that 10 under number, which is fine. But I like that 5 under plus or minus a few shots. That's a really fun golf to watch because it means they're making birdies out there, but there's like it's not like nobody's gonna make 6 birdies on the front 9, and if they do, the wind was down that day or something like that, where that can obviously still happen, but super unlikely to happen out here in an Open Championship. And one more thing about the golf course, I think that kind of goes with the elevation I was talking about before, is blind shots that come because of that. That you've seen that all over. I mean, I've seen it watching like the pressers today and live from the Open, or even seeing some Instagram stories of the guys that are playing practice rounds. Like, there's a lot of work to be done if you're a caddy this week. You got to get lines for your guy. You got to get lines, depending on the wind. So you got to get a few different lines, right? If in case that wind flips or whatever it may be. You got to know, when you're down in a collection area on in a fairway still, you can't see the green, or even like if it's a par 5, your second shot up. Okay, what's out there? Because there's no trees, right? So unless there's a TV tower or grandstand or some kind of flag, you got to be looking at the mounds in front of you and pick a divot or, a blade of grass. Like, you got to do a lot of
something.
Yeah. There's a lot of work to be done as a caddy this week, or you got to go back up behind and, back to a tee or towards the tee to see back over and like see your ball and pick a line. Like, it's just going to be a lot of work if you're a caddy this week, just to make sure you guys comfortable in the swings he's taking. Otherwise, it's like a leap of faith every swing, and that's not a fun way to play golf. It's very like golf is hard enough battling yourself and your swing. Never mind blindly swinging, and although maybe that's freeing too, but I can imagine when you're in a major championship, you want to at least know what the target is versus just like, all right, let's whack it and go find it. Like, I don't think that's going to happen a lot in a major championship, but I mean, I'm like you said, TJ, it's going to be a super, super fun week at Royal St. George's. Darren Clark, like you said, won the last time I was here, and I think Ben Curtis won in like 2003. So it's been here a few times, and Greg Norman before that in the 90s, whatever it may be. But
93.
at the end of the day, it's going to be a fairways or priority, and not only just fairways, but the correct side of certain mounds or blind shots and fairways, and just hitting the middle of greens, and waiting to take advantage of your looks when you get them. But patience, as always in a major championship, is super important, and I think drivers of the golf ball got a good chance this week. I think that's really what it's going to come down to, and I'm looking forward. I hope the wind, is blowing, and I hope it flips on them one day, just to see what the course can bring. A couple different options. If we're lucky to see that, I think that's always fun to see how players react to the wind changing, and it's setting up to be an awesome time. I love the Open Championship. I love getting up at 4 a.m, 5 a.m, having 3 cups of coffee before 10 o'clock in the morning, and watching golf all day. And it's just, I don't know, nothing better than an Open Championship.
I think this year too, what I love is the streaming coverage starts like 1 a.m. Eastern.
Oh,
so like,
baby.
if you have a little late night going, maybe Friday or Saturday, you can throw it on, fall asleep on the couch to it. Maybe you're up till 3 a.m. watching it, whatever. Fall asleep, and then you
stop
roll over,
me, Paul.
flip on like NBC, or I don't even know what the coverage is. I think it's NBC. And you just roll right into TV coverage for like 3-4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours. I don't know. There's just golf like around the clock. It's on from like 1 a.m. to 4 p.m. every day.
I love this.
It's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely will be probably Thursday, Friday. I'm going to do the get up early thing, and then like I said, Friday, Saturday, I'll probably extend my night and watch a little. Watch a little extra.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, anything else we got to talk course? I know we got a lot of players and a lot of storylines and stuff like that to get into, but for course and weather, like TJ said, pretty dry, but wind is certainly a factor, and we'll see the direction if it changes at all. But so far, it looks like we're blowing east. We're blowing towards the trouble, and course layout all over the place, elevation, a lot of things to watch this week going into the Open Championship, the final major of the year.
Yep. Just good luck to everybody that's out there. 1 point, Jack Nicklaus shot his worst round in his major career, shot an 83 here at Royal St. George. Good luck, boys. Enjoy it this week. It's going to be hell.
Got to be patient. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.